so many things that I love to share with people. That either support or
Bon, je pense qu'on
challenge.
va être bon, Rodrigo.
Yes, c'est bon.
Bon, alors du coup, pour cette petite conférence, on a le plaisir d'avoir Peter Morgan et Henry. Du coup, ça va être une conférence d'1 heure et après, on va faire 30 minutes de questions-réponses. Pour ça, est-ce que vous pourrez activer vos caméras pour qu'on vous voit un peu? Parce que c'est toujours cool de voir vos petites têtes. Voilà, donc je vais laisser la parole à Rodrigo, puis après je ferai une petite introduction de Peter Morgan et Henry et des missions. Voilà, ça filme et je pense qu'on est bon. Allez, vas-y, je te laisse la parole, Rodrigo.
Yes, on est bon. Déjà, salut Flossie, je viens de voir le message sur le chat, c'est parfait, on aime l'interaction. Du coup, on va commencer comme d'habitude, je vais vous présenter un peu ce que c'est Sigma. Donc, pour les habitués, il y en a plusieurs ce soir, c'est parfait. Mais il y a des nouvelles têtes aussi, donc on tient toujours à présenter un peu pourquoi on fait ça. Avec Léo, il y a entre 2 et 3 ans, on était un peu frustrés à l'école parce qu'on a découvert des choses en dehors de l'école qui nous ont beaucoup parlé en fait. On a compris ce que c'était la chiro. Parce en tout cas, on a compris notre vision de la chiro, on a pu la développer grâce à des gens qui nous ont vraiment inspirés. Donc, Peter Morgan en fait partie, surtout pour Léo. Moi, je n'ai pas encore l'honneur de bien le connaître. Et c'est donc en gros notre but avec Sigma, c'est de faire en sorte que tout le monde puisse avoir un accès facile à du contenu chiro diversifié, donc des techniques différentes, des gens différents, parce que chaque personne a une fréquence différente et ça va parler plutôt. Alors à chacun, il y a plus une personne qui va nous toucher qu'une autre. On a différentes sensibilités. Donc voilà. Avec Léo actuellement, comme vous le savez, pour la plupart, on est rentré en clinique, on est en 5e année. Et on va bientôt partir de l'école si tout se passe bien. Donc là, on aimerait bien au fur et à mesure pouvoir, pouvoir se... Je trouve pas mes mots en français, je suis désolé.
Laissez-la progressivement.
On aimerait bien en fait progressivement pouvoir passer la main à quelqu'un d'autre. Et ça peut être... alors, on ne veut pas des prises de tête, on ne veut pas quelqu'un qui prenne la relais, qui se sente obligé de faire 50 séminaires. Ce n'est pas du tout le but. Ce qu'on veut, c'est juste des gens qui aimeraient bien faire avancer les choses, qui aimeraient bien organiser, par exemple, ponctuellement une conférence sur Zoom, comme ça, avec un chiro par qui ils ont été touchés. Donc, n'hésitez surtout pas, si vous voulez faire ça, à nous contacter, à nous envoyer un message. Nous, on va vous aider et ça sera vraiment un plaisir. Je vais laisser Léo continuer pour présenter Peter Morgan et bonne conférence à tout le monde.
Merci Rodrigo. Du coup, Peter Morgan, c'est Peter Morgan et Henry. Du coup, c'est 2 gars qui m'ont le plus inspiré. J'ai eu la chance d'être invité lors de Chiro Europe à faire une mission humanitaire du coup à Haïti. Et c'est là où j'ai vraiment découvert Peter Morgan, qui est pour moi là, une des personnes qui donne le plus, à travers ces ajustements et puis à Haïti et puis aux gens qui en ont le plus besoin. Du coup, juste pour présenter un peu Peter Morgan et puis l'émission, je pense que pour vous donner un petit aperçu, j'ai sélectionné 3-4 photos que j'avais prises pendant la mission qui m'ont beaucoup marqué. Et après, je vais laisser Peter Morgan et Henry. So I just said Peter Morgan and Henry was one of my greatest mentors because they give a lot for the chiropractic, a lot for the people who don't have so much money so I'm going to show some picture about the mission just to show an aperture of what I have lived. So that's the first day, the briefing with Henry.
Hippie shirt.
When at the mission we can adjust a lot, everybody, and one of my best buddy just behind up in the airport. That's the orphanage who Peter Morgan and Henry give a lot of presents and everything, and money also. Here it's when we can adjust everywhere and everybody. So that's the street with a lot of trash and dishes. Also me. So thank you everyone. I let you with Peter Morgan and Henry. See you. Up. So I let you be an administrator.
Okay, great, great. Hey, well, it's Peter Morgan and Henry Rosenblum, and we wanted to talk to you about a couple of different things that we do. The first thing that, as what Leon was talking about, is the mission work that we do. We do a tremendous amount of mission trips. As a matter of fact, in December will be my 100th mission trip. And Henry's got a lot under his belt too. I don't know his exact number, but we basically go down to Haiti and the Dominican Republic and we serve. And I just wanted to briefly give you a little history of what we did. And I spoke to Leon and he told me that most of you guys will be able to understand English, but I also am going to be able to share my screen and show you some videos of the things that we're doing. But again, we're going to go over two different things that we do. One is the mission trips. I've been doing these mission trips since about 2001. And what we do is we started off by taking chiropractors and chiropractic students and friends of chiropractic to different countries. We started in the Dominican Republic, and then I did trips in Cuba, in Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica, and a number of other places as well. But then we started doing work in Haiti, and currently we're doing our mission work on the border of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. We started to go down a road of not only bringing chiropractic to the countries, but I happened to be in Haiti the day before the earthquake happened there in 2010 and returned a few days later. And that's when we started our chiropractic orphanage. So we've been running an orphanage for over 10 years now. It's the only chiropractic orphanage in the world. And in Haiti, there's just thousands of children everywhere. So our focus has been on taking care of children. Of course, we take care of everybody. And we see thousands of adults and thousands of people. But recently, our focus has been on pediatrics. So part of our talk and videos today will be regarding pediatric work as well. So two things we're touching on: mission work and our pediatric program. We have actually two programs. The mission trips is I've been running the mission trips, and we also have what we call a College of Chiropractic Pediatrics, and Henry is the president of that college. And so we're going to talk about, how our work is with pediatrics and the mission trip. So the mission trip is for everyone. Anybody could come on the mission trip. You guys could come whenever you wanted to. But the pediatric trip that we do after you do a mission trip, we have a pediatric trip, and that trip is for doctors. Meaning as soon as you graduate school, you can do one of our pediatric trips. And we're going to show you some of that stuff. But that trip is going to make you the expert in pediatrics, because you'll be adjusting on that trip. We adjust brand new babies. And we're working on creating the first chiropractic birthing center. So in the future, every one of our people who come on our pediatric trip is going to be able to adjust newborns during the time that they come. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about mission work and our pediatric work. And we're going to have some questions, but I wanted to go to a video. I wanted to share my screen. So let's see if my screen will share. Okay, I'm hitting share screen. Is my screen sharing?
No.
So what would I have to do to share my screen?
Just share screen, touch on it, and after you have a couple of screen you can touch, click. Yes,
Okay.
you can add the person on the waiting list.
Looking good, Peter.
You can see my screen now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, I gave you a little bit information about Mission Life International. Mission Life International is a nonprofit organization with nonprofit status in 3 countries. We're nonprofit in Haiti, nonprofit in the Dominican Republic, and we're nonprofit in the USA. And so on this screen that you're seeing now, okay, basically you're seeing some of the projects that we do. Okay, we have we have a number of different projects that we're involved in. And so before we get to that, let me just show you a picture of our board of directors, okay, for our nonprofit. And now this Mission Life International is more than just chiropractic. I'm going to show you our chiropractic website too, but this is our nonprofit work. This is just helping to feed hungry children, helping to house hungry children, and just helping the country of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So there's me, I'm the president. Okay, this is some of our vice presidents, Lona, Tiffany, and Shelby, and there's Henry. Okay, he's our vice president of fundraising, and he does a lot of great stuff on our mission trips as well, on Chiro missions. So that's what we got there. Let me see if I can move the screen here, because now there's some things in the way. So let me close that out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, Henry, do you want to say a few words before I show this video?
Briefly, first of all, it's so wonderful that Leo was able to host this and make this happen. Leo was on a trip with Peter and I a little over a year. I think it's about a year and a half now, and we had such a fantastic time with him. I'm sure he's spoken to a lot of you about the amazing time he had, and we're just so excited that we can share this with all of you. And I'll speak more later, but Peter, why don't you go back to the video for now?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to show a number of different videos. This first video was created by students such as yourselves back in 2012 or 2011, 2012 rather, it says it right there. Back in 2012, this video was created by a bunch of students who were attending Life University. After this video, we'll talk a little bit more, but then I'm going to show you some videos of how we teach you how to adjust children, because we have a whole program where we were talking about before on the pediatrics. I'll show you some clips of that. And then I'm going to show you a clip of our latest video that I just made last week about our birthing centers that we're going to open. So this first video, again, was created by students back in 2012. Since 2012, aside from this year, in the year 2020, I did 3 mission trips, but normally I do 6 to 8 mission trips a year. But with COVID, we've been slowed down a little bit. But we'll be back on track next year. But here's this video from 2012.
Your spinal cord that is housed within the spinal column. If one of those bones is to go out of alignment, then it can cause an interference in the nervous transmission from the brain to the rest of your body. If that happens, we call it a subluxation. And what we are trying to do as chiropractors is locate and remove these subluxations, allowing people to express their innate potential at its fullest possible expression.
Si mon Pierre étudiant, est-ce que vous aimez-vous? Oui, Seigneur, moi, aimez-vous? Pas manger à mon tonneau. Oui, Seigneur, moi, aimez-vous? Pas manger à mon tonneau. Si mon Pierre étudiant, est-ce que vous aimez-vous? Oui, Seigneur, moi, aimez-vous? Pas manger à mon tonneau. Pas manger à mon tonneau.
Okay, so that was a mission trip in 2012. And I think you can get an idea of what kind of stuff that we do on the mission trip. You know, we bring chiropractic to the whole country. So thousands of people, as you saw in those pictures, line up for us because they all love chiropractic. And a matter of fact, for me, I think that Haiti are the thirstiest people for chiropractic because we'll just put our table out and then each table will have lines of people waiting to be adjusted. When we go to the hospitals, we adjust everybody. We adjust the nurses, the medical doctors, all the patients, any newborn that's born, we adjust everybody. So we have a way of helping people in these type of countries that no other profession even steps into. In some of the areas that we go, there's Christian missionaries don't even go in there. There's no, and these people are so poor, they don't ever go to hospitals for the most part. They can't even afford the hospitals. And one of the reasons that we're opening up a birthing center in the future is because women, 1 in 263 women die in childbirth in Haiti, and 1 in 14 children die before the age of 5. So we've been able to do a lot of great things in Haiti and the Dominican Republic to help these people. So that's one of our things that we do is we're all about helping people. And when you do that, when you have a mission and you're just about helping people, it's a blessing to the people that we're helping. And what happens is there's a spiritual law of success, the actual second law of spiritual success. It's the law of giving and receiving. The more that you give, and I'm an example of this, the more that you give, the more that you're going to receive. So when you're giving and giving and giving, you're going to be receiving. God will be blessing you with blessings. So for example, I have a very busy practice in New York City for years. My practice is huge, and people just keep coming and lining up, and I play these videos during when I'm adjusting people. These videos are in my this one that I just showed you is one of them. I have ongoing videos with just music, no sound, going the whole day while I'm adjusting people. And for me, it's like I'm still in the mission trip adjusting people. And so my practice is set up such a way that I'm just adjusting people all day long. And it's a little bit different than in the mission trip because two different dynamics. Well, one, you're taking money from people or utilizing their insurance companies. In the USA, we take insurance too. But we're also doing notes, and the notes on each patient are just so easy to do in this technology, this age of technology that we have. I have a touch screen TV, and basically all I do is touch a button and I can create so many notes, and literally in 30 seconds, I can create paragraph upon paragraph of notes. And it doesn't even take me that long. It takes me literally seconds to do my notes on people. So practicing chiropractic now is something really easy if you have a few different skills under your belt. Okay, you could be so successful. You could have unbelievable amounts of people coming to you if you have a certain skill set. And those are easy skills to learn, very easy. The first one is your intention. Why are you doing this? What makes you become a chiropractor? Why do you want to become a chiropractor? What is your whole intention of doing this? And my intention and all the intention of the people that come on the mission trips is the intention of just helping people, unconditional loving people, and you just want to help them. So that's the first thing for success in our profession, because we're touch healers. We touch people and they heal. So the first law is giving, and giving from what you have. And certainly when you're a student, one of the things that you're going to want to learn how to do, because this is the second thing that you need to have to be able to do to be successful in chiropractic, and that is be able to learn how to adjust people, how you can put your hands on people, and how you can use their spinous processes and their transverse processes of their spinal column to tune up their nervous system, so that as soon as you adjust them, immediately after the adjustment, that person is already doing 100% better than they were 1 second ago. It doesn't take very long to adjust a person. And it's particularly if you adjust the atlas, wow, you're going to see some unbelievable results. So what we do on our mission trip is expose you to so many people. And at the same time, we're teaching you how to adjust people. And it literally doesn't take very long. After an 8-day trip, I can tell you, seeing Leon from his progression from the first day to when he left was amazing. Now, he was surely motivated. He's a guy who's just always smiling and always zesting for life, and he wants to help people so bad that his skills took off so quickly. But that happens with most people too, if you have that intention. And clearly, Leon has that intention. We could see that. And so I want to get into some of the things that how we teach you this when we come to taking care of children, because the children part is a little bit more involved, and when you're adjusting children, there's a little bit more to it. It's easier to adjust a child once you know how, but sometimes it takes a while because you're not exposed to a lot of children. And so to get your experience with a lot of children, particularly newborn babies and under a year, to get that skill set sometimes could take a lifetime, quite frankly, if you're in a practice that's not taking care of a lot of the children and newborns. And quite frankly, a lot of people are not taking care of newborn babies. But we're going to show you some of the things now on this next screen, when I get to it, some of the things on how we teach you in our second program. And again, this program is when you graduate. You come back, you do the mission trip. If you choose to do this mission trip, you do that when you're a student, but you come back for this pediatric program that we have. So in our pediatric program, what you're seeing right here on this screen is the chapter on adjustment of the child. Our program, if you came to our program, you're going to get about 15 textbooks with different modules, and each textbook has videos. So I'm going to show you some videos in this particular screen, the Spinal Adjustment of the Child ebook. This is some of the things that we can provide. Hopefully it's going to work here. Let's see. We got it. Well, there we go. We have Pediatric Essentials for the new graduate. We have different packages here. But I want to show you some videos. Right now, it's not letting me do that. Hold on, let's see if I hit this.
Can you hear me, Peter?
Yeah, I can hear you
Maybe
fine.
As I said, maybe you just scroll down the page and just
Well,
line up like you just did.
Yeah, I did.
might work.
Let's see if this one shows. This is not the one I wanted to show, but we'll show this one because I can open it.
It's a great day, I'm feeling good. Oh, the possibilities of what I could. Oh, doing the world at my fingertips. My imagination brings a smile to my lips. Oh, fascinated, I'm moving fast. Oh, I'm optimistic as the breeze goes past. Oh, opportunity is here for me. So come along and take a look because I'm watching.
me see if I can get to some of the videos that I wanted to show you. Adjustment of the child is the one I wanted to show you, but for some reason it's not opening.
Can you just scroll down the page?
There we go. Something's opening now. It's just not working the same as it normally works. For some reason. See, this one's working. Okay, this is not the one I wanted to show you, but we're getting some.
Module 1 covers the initial consultation and is presented in ebook format, including over 55 videos, as well as a child patient case history form, which you can download to your computer and print on your own office stationery. This form collects all of the relevant information you need from the parents, including details of the pregnancy, the birth, the child's medical history, plus so much more. This module begins by exploring the essential information you need to collect during the taking of the child's history. It details the specific and very important initial procedures and protocols involved in the child's first visit, including the examination of the neonatal baby, as well as the toddler and older child. So the information is presented in written form, clearly describing each procedure. But the beauty of this information being in digital format is that you can then click on the video to see the procedure performed for you. This makes mastering the procedure so easy.
Each one of these pictures is a video. So you just hit one of these buttons here and you're on
Whether
video.
this be a specific neurological examination, such as this plantar reflex examination, testing for the presence of primitive reflexes, such as this Galant reflex, perhaps testing an infant with a pull-to-sit test to determine whether the child is meeting age-specific milestones. Or testing for a postural reflex such as this Landau reflex. Your ability to understand the significance as well as to physically perform these procedures is made so much easier through the visual support of the videos. This is also true with the spinal examination of the infant, whether this be the assessment of the sacrum, the sacroiliac joints, or perhaps the upper cervical spine. The videos ensure you are shown every specific assessment technique so that you can closely follow this with your own patients. Again, the emphasis throughout the program is on the practical application of this information. It's not simply about finding a problem, it's about knowing how to best deal with this on a practical level. So should you uncover a neurological deficit, perhaps a retained primitive reflex, this program is designed to walk you through the most appropriate management strategies for that particular child. Also included in Module 1 is a step-by-step process. I call it my 8-step, 10-minute examination that you can follow to put all of these procedures together when examining the infant. A method which is both thorough and time efficient. There is also a very useful description of the age-specific milestones which you should be aware of when examining the pediatric patient. This information is also covered in detail for the toddler and the older child, including the essential examination procedures during the first visit, again all supported by video, the spinal examination of the toddler and older child, as well as a summary of the entire examination process in step-by-step format.
Okay, let me just one more place to see if we can get to this adjustment. I wanted to just show you some of the ways that we teach you how to adjust. Let's see.
Peter, can you explain us why you do all of that? Why you do your mission trip and you put that amount of energy to IT and for pediatrics and everything?
Yeah, well, so the mission started in 2001 when I was on the executive board of our chiropractic organization in the state of New York. And what happened in 2001 is that our city was attacked. 2 planes came into our twin towers and destroyed our towers, and over 3,000 people perished. And as a team leader in chiropractic in those days, one of the things that I was able to, with the help of a lot of other chiropractors, not just me, was to be able to bring chiropractors from all over our country to come to New York and help people at the site of the Twin Towers where they used to be. And so we were there for 9 months, and my job was to credential you. If you came and you wanted to adjust people down at that site, you basically would come through me, or if I wasn't there, one of our other chiropractors, and we would take your picture and we would get your picture laminated on a red cross with the Red Cross. So it was essentially a Red Cross card for chiropractors that allowed us to go through the police barricades and adjust people. So that was like my first mission trip. After that was finished, after 9 months, I happened to go to the Dominican Republic with my wife and another friend of mine and his wife. And we went there just for vacation, to play golf, to go to the beach, and all these things that you do down there. But we brought our chiropractic tables along with us, our portable tables, just to adjust the workers at the hotel. So we usually do that. Whenever we go on vacation, we bring our chiropractic tables and we adjust people. And so on this one particular occasion, we were in the Dominican Republic, and one of the people asked us if I could adjust their mother. She lived less than a mile away. And I said, certainly. So I thought I was going to do a home visit, but what happened was we went into a little village that was really, really poor. I had never ever seen poverty like this before in my life. And I couldn't put my table in her where she lived because it was just a little hut with aluminum roof that was like 2 rooms inside, dirt floors, didn't even have anything but dirt, no bathrooms or anything like that. And so I had to put my table outside this little woman's place of where she was living. And all of a sudden, a lot of people saw what we were doing, and people started lining up and said, can you do the same thing for me? And I said to my friend, this has to be a mission trip. So we started doing mission work. Then we put our table, we'd come back. I went back to New Beginnings. It's a seminar where I'm a speaker at. I gave a talk, and then 7 people came with me on the next trip. Then I had people who had testimonials. They had a great time. It was an amazing experience for them. They said it was life-changing. So when I came back, the next mission trip, we had 14 people. And then a mission trip after that, I had 21 people. I had a number of mission trips where I had 50 people. And then I even went to 90 people. We had 3 or 4 trips where I had 95 people. And my biggest trip was back in 2008. And that was, so that's 12 years already, but that was 106 chiropractors came on the trip, students and chiropractors. And of course, some staff, CAs and things like that. But we also had MTV came down with us. Okay, and so they brought with them the world record book. So we were able to get 4 world records over the years. We adjusted, one world record is that we adjusted 22,000 people in 2 days. And another world record is that we adjusted 75,000 people in 8 days. And that included that we had to get pictures of the sites we were adjusting people and also get people to sign a piece of paper. So we had proof of all of this, and I had to pay for the people from the World Record Book to come down and document this. So our mission trips, was so much fun. I mean, just bringing chiropractic to 2 new countries. We went to Trinidad, Tobago, Cuba, and a lot of other places. But what happened was in 2010, someone asked me if I can go adjust their mom again, just like the other scenario, in Haiti. So it was my first time going to Haiti. And in Haiti, I had already thought that I'd seen the worst poverty in the world by visiting the countries we did, but I hadn't been to Haiti. And when I saw Haiti, Haiti is even on another level of poverty that I had never seen before. And the people were so thirsty for chiropractic, they were pleading with me after I left my first mission, please don't forget us. Please come back. I even have that on some videos somewhere where they're saying, please don't forget us. And so on one of the trips in January of 2010, we left. The mission trip was over on January 10th, 2010. And we left on January 11th, and January 12th was the second worst earthquake in man's history of people dying. And so there was about 300,000 people who passed away, but the children became orphans in 45 seconds. In 45 seconds, that's all it took to completely destroy the city of Port-au-Prince. All the buildings came down. So if you were inside a building, the chances are that you died. What happened was the earthquake was at about 3:30 in the afternoon, and the children were walking home from school. So all of these children survived, but their parents did not. So we took in these children, and from 2010 to 2012, we took care of 1,000 children that we placed. 1,000. It's a huge number. People don't even realize it. But we placed over 1,000 children with parents, Haitian parents, who lost their own children. And then things got really, really tough in Port-au-Prince. Well, they were always tough there, but I couldn't keep up the work there because it was really tough. So we moved everything to a different part of the country, to the first place in the country where I went before, because I also had an infrastructure there. I had a friend of mine named Alex Tony. He worked in the hospital, and we became friends with different people in the hospital. And little by little, we were able to bring the children. We brought a number of children from Port-au-Prince, and with Alex's help, we put the children in his home. And then I raised some money, and we were able to rent a home for the children. Then over time, I brought different people. I brought a pastor from a church in New York City, and he told us, we just had purchased a piece of land. And he told us, every time you go to the land, pray on the land. And so now we have 5 buildings on our property. And I want to show you, if I can get to it. Let's see. I want to show you a piece of our property here. How do I get to this? Bear with me a second. I just got to open up a new website because I deleted it before. Okay, this was the website we were on before, but I want to show you. So we're working on these projects. I want to show you our construction projects because this is how life works. Okay, we bought this piece of property, a really small piece of property. This property here, okay, is not the original piece of property that we bought. We bought a really small piece of property next to a gas station. The owner of the gas station started building a hotel, and he wanted to expand. So he traded us a small little plot of land for this land here, okay? And then we started doing some construction after the pastor told us, start praying on the land, and we started praying on the land each mission trip, and we were doing 8 mission trips a year, and people started donating some money, but also with doing 8 mission trips a year, and I was having 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 people come on the mission trip, we were able to build these buildings with the money from the mission trip. So this is a nonprofit mission trip. Your money gets used for doing this kind of projects. And we teach you chiropractic and all this other stuff, of course. And so now look at our buildings growing and growing. We keep praying on our land, and our buildings keep growing. This is the building here that Leon was showing you right there. on my left in the green with the nice lights we have now. And this is building our gazebo. This is a kitchen building here. This whole building is, the bottom floor is just a kitchen. The upstairs is where our staff live. This is building over here is where the children live, and we're going to eventually build a second floor to this building. This one has 2 floors. This building here is our, this is our bus. We shipped a bus down. That's our Mission Life International bus. We have our own bus. We also have 2 motorcycles. This is a 3-wheeler right next to it. We have 2 of these 3-wheelers. We also have a car. I sent the car when I bought a new car. This is some of the children. This is where the children live. This is our staff housing and the kitchen downstairs. This is the building that Leon showed you before. It was green when we finished it. This is actually our gazebo from the side. We have 2 bathrooms here, but I think this might be Nicole painting this picture here. Henry's girlfriend came down and painted the walls. We did some murals on our walls. This is our gazebo. You see the gazebo is set up so that we can have back here, we can have we can sell sandwiches and stuff, because the building that's just being completed now for the birthing center and the chiropractic center is to the left of here. And so while people are waiting to get their chiropractic adjustments or after their adjustments or before they can come here and purchase some things so that our children will have jobs. The problem with Haiti is there's no jobs. Again, here's our gazebo. Okay, there's one of our 3-wheelers here. Okay, this is the new building. It's actually completed now. I don't have any updates of the completion, but we're still working on the inside right now of this building. And the upstairs is where the chiropractors are going to live. Any chiropractors that, when you guys graduate, if you want to spend 3 months down here, you come down here and live down here and adjust these new babies. But this is going to be, the downstairs is going to be the birthing center and also the chiropractic center. Here's a little view of our property. There's our bus. Here's our gazebo. This is the building that's going to be completed here. In the back, you'll see that this is where the housing and this is where the children are. And over here, you can't see, I don't have any pictures, but we're building a whole new building on this side too. It's going to be a building with auto mechanics so that our children will learn how to fix motorcycles and fix cars, because there are no jobs in Haiti. So even if you graduated from some school as a medical doctor, a chiropractor, or a lawyer or anything, you're not going to be working as the profession that you studied to be, because it's really difficult. And so fixing motorcycles is probably the best job you can have, unfortunately. And we want to change that, but that's the reality of things right now. Here again is all our property. So you get it, you got an idea of what we're doing. Yeah, I wanted to go back.
Why don't we talk about some adjusting, Peter?
Yeah, I
If you
wanted to
can
get
hear
back
me.
to that, still see if I can, I just hit the wrong button right here. And, I want to get back to that video where we can show you. Henry, while I'm looking for that, you want to talk some?
Sure. So when we do go down to Haiti on these trips and the students come along like Leo did, our focus is to get all of the people that are down there volunteering, adjusting as many people as possible, along with training all of you to improve your skills as quickly as possible. Some people come down on these trips, they've hardly done any adjusting at all. It's amazing what happens when you start putting your hands on 50, 100, 200 people a day. And as Leo can tell you, because I remember he was one of the hardest working people on that trip, absolutely. The people that really, really go full on, they adjust between 200, 300. I mean, if you go from morning till we shut you down, you might get 300 to 400 people in a day. It sounds crazy, but when you open up your table and one person's on there getting adjusted, and as soon as you finish adjusting that person, there's like 10 other people trying to climb on the table. It really gets to be that crazy at times. So part of what Peter was also speaking about with the pediatric part was that, and Leah will tell you, that he adjusted many children, many small children, and some pregnant women as well when we were down there. What we've managed to do, Peter and I, is organize at kindergartens and now building a birth center. So it's not just you're out in the field with your table and somebody comes by and hands you a baby and you have a little bit of an idea what to do. The videos in the program, you have them on your phone, they're on your computer, all the information, so you can study all you want, just like there are other pediatric programs. But what Peter and I are now able to offer is for you to come down to Haiti on a different trip than the one Leo did, and in 4 days adjust about 500 infants, babies, and children. Your skills with adjusting babies and children aren't just little big people. There's a lot to know to be a really skilled baby adjuster. We want to be able to offer that to the people that really want to focus on adjusting babies and children. So that's kind of a new thing, but otherwise these mission trips, and I know that when Cairo Europe starts again, that Peter always raffles off or donates trips. But for any of you that are looking at these things and it's not a lot of money, come down on a trip. Your skills will improve amazing and very, very fast. And all the money from that goes to help build those buildings, to house children. And we will be open very, very soon with the very, very first chiropractic birthing center. We do have a nurse. We do have medical care close by for emergencies. But these women that are pregnant, we have midwives that give prenatal and postnatal care. The women are being adjusted, the pregnant women, throughout the pregnancy. The babies are checked as soon as they are born. And this is an amazing, amazing new thing that we're able to decrease the number of women who die giving childbirth, to improve too many children die as babies in Haiti. We want to put an end to that, but not with shots and drugs, with chiropractic care, only utilizing medical care in emergencies. I'll flip it back to you, Peter.
Can you guys see this video here? Henry, you seeing?
I can see it.
Yes,
Yep.
I mean, everybody can see it. Okay.
Now it's not. There you
So yeah, so here we got some, see, this is our book here. And so each one of these is a video. So for example, here, this video here is, let's see what it's going to be. This is a thumb push move for a base posterior sacrum.
And then when you can, Peter, show some more video of Haiti and stuff. I think would be good.
I'm going to show the video for the birthing center, yeah.
Beauty, yeah, that'd be great. The gentleman, can they hear me, Leo? Can they still hear me when I talk?
Yep.
Yep.
The gentleman in the videos is a partner of Dr. Peter and I that we've known now for a few years. This Pediatric Elevate program is something he put together. He is the foremost pediatric chiropractor in all of Australia. That's why his voice, of course, he's Australian. But Peter and I were able to partner with him to make all this information accessible to all of the people that want to go down and adjust all these babies. And now we have all the educational stuff that you have at your access as well. So that's who the gentleman in the video is. He's our partner in Australia that put this. I think there's 280 videos at your disposal to review anytime. But anyway, Pete, take it back, Peter.
Okay, I'm just going to show this last video here. Yeah, so we have videos of every segment, how to adjust Atlas for every single segment.
There's a lot of, there's also cranial work. I mean, it's everything. And also, if you're going to be seeing infants at your practice, the forms, I mean, everything. But anyway, go ahead, Peter.
Right,
Where we can find that doc?
Say again?
Where we can find that that book?
Well, it's not a book. It's a book, but it's part of our program. So you got it. We teach this. So this you get this book when you take.
They can look at it at the university site, Peter. We can share with you how, if anybody wants to look at it. If not now, we can get information and people can look. I don't know if you can bring it up or not, Peter, at the university. It's up to you.
Oh yeah, I could try to bring that up.
We have another site that's at the university, Universidad Mission Life International, and there are also other free programs up there. They're not in Francais, they're in English, but there are some free programs up there as well. And then, like I said, Peter, you definitely want to show some more Haiti stuff to these guys. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, this is the university that we have here, and on the university, you can see that we have. This is all postdoctorate. This is after you guys graduate, but we have a neurological exam, a neuroanatomy lab, brain dissection. We have all of these courses here, and if you guys, Leon, what I could do is I can send you a code so that you guys could take these 3 courses here for free if you want. One is a brain dissection, one is a neurological exam for the pediatric patient, and one is a neurological exam.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll make that all available, Peter.
Yeah.
So we'll share that to you.
Happy to do that.
Yeah.
Send us. We can transmit to the participant after. If you send us the code or.
Say again?
You can share the code if you want, or we can give to the participant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll share the code before we leave.
Anybody that wants it, we're happy to give you guys that.
Yeah, I'll share it to you before we leave. I'll put it on the screen.
Show the birthing center stuff,
Yeah,
Peter.
so
That's
this
cool
is the
stuff.
Mama Baby Birthing Center.
Great.
This is all about on our websites. I'll share with you our websites. We have missionlifeinternational.com. That's this website. Mission Life International University. That's the website before, and the Cairo Missions website. So I'll share you those websites, and I'll share with you missionlifeinternationaluniversity.com how you can get some free courses from there. And then you should review the whole website because there's so much information that can help you right away without even purchasing anything. So yeah, so this is the video for this that I just created last week, because I gave a talk about our birthing center last week at New Beginnings Philosophy Seminar. So this is that video here. The children waiting for us.
So now, along with giving chiropractic care to all these people in Haiti, we will be saving lives directly. Really cool. Really cool.
And as we set free and well, another soldier has to yell, tell my wife and children I love them in his last breath. Oh, now, amen. 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 Habitual offenders, scumbag lawyers with a genders. I tell you, sometimes people, I don't know what's worse. Natural disasters, or these wolves in sheep clothes pastors. Now, goddamn it, I'm scared to send my children to church. And how can we see salvation when our nation's race relations got me feeling guilty of being white? But faith in human nature, our creator and a savior. I'm no saint, but I believe in what is right. Oh, now, amen. I said amen. Stop pointing fingers and take some blame. Pull your future away from the flame. Open up your mind and start to live. Stop shortchanging your neighbors, living off handouts and favors. Baby, give a little bit more than you got to give. You got to give. Simplify, testify, identify, rectify. And if I get high, stop being so uptight. It's only human nature, and I'm not a stranger. So baby, won't you stand and be tonight? And when it costs away, make the time to fade down on this song. Oh, this song. They just sit down and hold it back out. Gone and gone, and I'm saying, try. Wanna say, it's a matter of salvation from the faces of above. So don't give up so damn easy on the one you love. Somewhere you got a brother, sister, friend, grandmother, niece, or nephew just dying to be with you. You know there's someone out there who unconditionally, religiously loves you. So just hold on, cause you know it's true. And if you can take the pain, then you can withstand anything. And one day stand hand in hand with the truth. I say amen. I said amen. I said amen. I said amen.
Hey, Peter. So, what do you think about start the question and answer? Because we going to be about 1 hour.
Okay, so I think you guys are probably ready for questions.
Great,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what he said. Perfect.
So, est-ce que vous avez des questions? C'est le moment de poser toutes vos questions.
Ouais.
Vas-y.
Sure. So, hello Peter, hello Henry. I had a question about your pediatric program. I was wondering about the pricing of the information. How much does it cost?
Do you want to take that, Peter, or do you want me to
I
take
didn't hear
it?
the question.
They were
I mean, repeat
one of the people asked about the pricing on the pediatric program.
Okay, so the way that it works is if you came, for example, if you came on a mission trip when you're a student, the fee is currently for the December mission trip is $799. So that would be for the mission trip. If you were a doctor, you graduated and you were coming down for a pediatric mission trip, the price of that, which includes all of these 15 books, all of these videos, 8 days in Haiti is going to be
froze.
$999 US. But that includes all your room and board, all of your food, all of your training. Then you go home with these books. And so you have these books and videos. But in the first 4 days, we're going to teach you everything. You're going to be adjusting with us right there. You're going to be adjusting newborn babies. You're going to be adjusting a lot of children. The next 4 days is when students come down for the mission trip, and you're going to teach you how to teach that. So you will learn how to adjust all these children in 4 days. And believe it or not, you will be experts after 4 days. You can ask Leon. In the mission trip, we're going to be experts in adults. You're going to be experts in teenagers. You're going to be experts in adolescents. But in the pediatric program, you're going to be experts in little children and newborns. So there's 2 different programs. But you go home with all of this information that you can see time and time again. So that's how it works. But you have to be graduated from chiropractic school to do that. So I would recommend, because I know there's 61 people on this call, I would recommend that you start off with the mission trip, and then as soon as you graduate, you come right back and you do the whole program. And then you're going to be, and plus you get certified. We teach you how to be a teacher. So there's a lot more that we didn't really have time to go over about what's involved in the program for that program, but it's $29.99. If you've been on a mission trip, you can take $500 off of that price. So if you came on the mission trip, then it would be $24.99. If you're ready.
I froze up, Peter. Can I jump in for 1 second?
Yeah.
So, like Peter said, the pediatric program is $29.99. We can take off $500 for anyone that's already been on a trip, so it's $24.99. Realize that if you only bought the pediatric Elevate program, it's $1,700. Also, when you come down to do the pediatric trip, your hotel, your food, all of that is also covered and included. So we pretty much rock bottom this as much as we could. But again, to just get the program from Dr. Maginus in Australia is $1,700 by itself. In any event, you guys don't have to worry about that. What you guys should be looking at is doing the same thing that Leo did. If you want to, come down and serve in Haiti. Every dollar goes to help the orphanage. The idea is for you guys to come down there, and in 8 days, if you want to work hard, adjust about 1,000 people. And again, we're teaching and supervising and all that stuff. So go ahead, I'll flip it back to you guys. People probably have more questions.
Yeah. Questions?
Yeah, I mean, I have one question. We see several times that you made buildings with chiropractics, houses and etc. And There, do you teach some residents, some local person to get the chiropractic during in time there, or your base, you're building here to
Okay,
go.
I think I understand your question. So here's the thing. There are no chiropractors in the country of Haiti. When I first started going to the Dominican Republic, there were no chiropractors in the Dominican Republic. And so over the years, I've opened up approximately 8 chiropractic offices in the Dominican Republic, of which I no longer own, but my friends own those practices now. But I'm one of the first chiropractors to bring chiropractic to the country of the Dominican Republic, and both countries are on the same island. We're trying to bring chiropractic to Haiti, and we've done that pretty successfully. Everybody in Haiti knows about chiropractic because they've seen one of my missions. But there are still no chiropractors in Haiti. There's no chiropractic school in Haiti. The people are so poor, they can't afford to even pay. They're lucky if they can get food for their children. And so that's why this birthing center is going to be free, because these women are dying in their homes. So we've been bringing chiropractic. We had one chiropractor who came for 3 months, and we're looking for more chiropractors like that who want to come down and serve and stay at the orphanage for 3 months and adjust people. So the question that you had is, can we teach these people about chiropractic? We're trying. We've opened up offices, but the next step is opening up a chiropractic school. And so that's been on my things to do for a good 15 years or 10 years at least. And it's not such an easy thing to do, is open up a chiropractic school in another country. But I still have plans to do it. With the guy who we sold the offices to, his name is Fidelio. He's a Dominican from the Dominican Republic, and he wants to open up a school there with me and Henry. And so in the future, we would like to open up a chiropractic school there so that people can have access to chiropractic care. Because the way that it's been working now, they don't have consistent access. Even when we opened up the offices in the Dominican Republic, they have some access there. But remember, there's only 8 chiropractic offices in the Dominican Republic, and it's a country of 11 million people. In Haiti, there's no chiropractors, and that's a country of 11 million people. So there's 22 million people on that island, and there's only 8 chiropractors because I brought chiropractic there. But otherwise, there'd be no chiropractors there at all. So basically, we're really trying hard to bring chiropractic to that area. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. So the key is every single person that comes on the mission trip for $799 that I could give to you guys if you want to come. So let me know that I quoted you that price, because it's $799 a few months before the mission trip starts, but our next mission trip is in December. So each month it goes up, and it's already up to $999 if someone came in December. But I would still give them the $79.99 price if they asked me. But
and they should understand, Peter, that includes everything but your airfare.
Right.
Your hotel is included, your food, your transport, everything. And the hotels, Leo, did you stay at Kodebi Resort on your trip? Did we? Yeah, I don't know if we had that at that time.
I'm sorry.
Where did we stay? Where did we sleep? Where did you sleep?
We sleep at the orphanage, and the first night just near Cap Haïtien, near Labadie.
Okay, so right now where we stay is actually much nicer. It's a resort at the factory. I'm sure Leo remembers the factory.
Yeah, sure.
The factory is where everybody gets off work and we adjust thousands and thousands of factory workers. But we now stay at a resort that we all have a room with an air conditioner and a nice bathroom, and the food is good. So on Leo's trip, the accommodations were okay. Now they're really good. And that's all included but the airfare. Go ahead, you guys.
Right. So yeah. So you get all of that, and you will still get you will still adjust a lot of children on that trip too. The difference between the trip is when it's the postgraduate trip is now we have you in the classroom and we're teaching you all those things you saw on the video of adjusting children. We're teaching you there in the classroom, and then in the afternoon we go adjust people. But in the morning we're doing hands-on. We bring children in and we show you with the children, you know, so we walk you through it. So it's a little different than the mission trip. On the mission trip, you're putting your tables out. People are coming to your tables. We're going to give you instruction before you go out. And then we usually have enough doctors with us to give you, you know, one chiropractor for every 4 or 5 students. But when we do the pediatric work, it's completely different in that you're becoming an expert in the time that you're there. So there's a difference.
I'm sure Leo can remember pregnant women on his table, or they lay the babies right down on the women. I remember I have pictures of you with the babies laying on the women and stuff like that. You should say something. You should say something, Leo. In français. Say something in français.
Ouais, effectivement, genre c'était on a pu voir de toutes les personnes, et bon, après moi je me sens pas le plus à l'aise avec les enfants, du coup je sais pas si c'est le meilleur exemple, mais sinon après tous les adultes c'était extraordinaire parce qu'ils faisaient des fils à côté, et on les ajustait à la file. Donc quand je suis sorti de la mission, il y avait genre plus aucun souci pour ajuster n'importe qui. So I say just I have some trouble with the children now, but for the adult it's way more easy to me, and after the mission I improve myself a lot.
You did great. You worked very, very hard. We're very proud of Leo. He really, really worked extreme, and you're still only what, 22 now? 22 years old? Right? Amazing to be that good at adjusting at 21, 22 years old. And Peter and I love to see that. We love seeing you guys being great chiropractors at a young age. We love that.
And we really wanted to come to France to do this presentation. That was the original goal before COVID. So we would still, more than likely, if we can arrange it, we would come up and teach maybe some adjusting work when things are back to normal, and when Chiro Europe is back on, we could come up for a couple of days and teach you guys some stuff right there in person too. But we're gonna just have to wait until Chiro Europe's going again and this COVID stuff is finished.
That's great. I have a question. How you become the greatest chiropractor like you are, and you see that amount of people in New York?
How? Yeah, it's basically, it's just basically from doing this mission work, really. You know, giving and getting and receiving. It's just a matter of my focus is on helping people. And so I was able to just by helping people. So, for example, in my community, my patients know that I'm doing mission trip all the time because they see the videos. And every time I'm doing a mission trip, I'm telling people that I'm doing the mission trip, and that's why I'm going to be away. So I get so many referrals. People refer to me all of the time because I'm involved in this mission stuff. So people just refer to me constantly. I get every day. And yes, for example, yesterday, normally I started closing on Friday. I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I decided to close on Friday. So for the last couple of months, we've been closed on Fridays. I haven't worked on Friday. And And so my staff is off as well. So no staff is on, and nobody wants to answer the phone. So because they're closed, so nobody wants to take the phone call. So yesterday I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back to the old school way. I'm going to take phone calls on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll forward the phone to my personal cell number, right? And yesterday I was on the phone and I had 6 new patients booked appointments for Monday. And I never even do this. We're so busy and I don't even really need to do this. But I decided, but this is the way a real doctor works. The phone calls, if someone has an emergency and they want to call, and I was thinking about it, for the last 2 months, no one had access to our office because I started closing on Friday. And as soon as I opened up the phone lines yesterday, I got 6 new patients for Monday. So a couple of them were car accident people who were in car accidents. A couple of them were families, 2 moms, and they want to bring in their children. That's what my phone call was yesterday. Yes, I had to take a lot of other phone calls. People were looking for records. People were looking for this. People just wanted information. But it's just that way it is.
So there are many ways to build a practice. The new way, of course, is social media. But all the old ways also work. Peter and I are happy to share any and all of this information to help you guys build practices. But to me, the most important thing is you have to get very, very good at your adjusting skills. Because if the people come in and you can't adjust them well, they're probably not staying for a long time. So the most important thing are your adjusting skills. I'm in practice now this is my 33rd year. My skills get better all the time because of my focus and my intention. I'm always looking to get better. But you must develop good adjusting skills. And that's the best way to make sure that once the people do come in, they're going to stay with you.
Yeah, because without the adjusting skills, nothing else works. So, but besides, once you have the adjusting skills mastered, we also have in our program, our pediatric program, for example, we have 2 whole books just on how to speak with parents so that they bring their children in, how to market to all the other doctors in your community for them to send you all new babies and pediatric people. We have multiple ways, advertisements. We have a book filled up with ways of getting new people so that you can be successful.
And again, you guys will send you a link. You can look at all that information, but everything with the pediatric is for after graduating. So look at it. It's good. And again, it's great information. But right now, if you can do the regular mission trip, that's great. But again, work on your skills with each other, practice with each other, and of course, stay within the guidelines of the school. Don't break the rules. That's another beautiful thing about the mission trip. When you're on the mission trip in Haiti, you're not following the rules at the school. We're not telling you to, it's different. The laws are different in Haiti, and we can bring you down there and you can do lots of adjusting. So what else we got, Peter? Any other questions? Who else might have a question?
Well, I got one, if nobody wants to speak.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I was wondering, what were your mentors when you were students? Which people would you look up to? What were your inspirations back then, or even even nowadays?
Peter, should I go and then you go?
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm typing some stuff.
Wonderful. Both Peter and I were very lucky that there's a group here in the United States called Dynamic Essentials, DE. The leader was Dr. Sid, Peter and I both knew him well. We saw him, and I saw you go up with the hands. And through Dr. Sid, we also had the amazing that I got to see people speak and get to know some people like Sigafus and Reggie Gold. All these people are on YouTube, by the way. Chuck Ribley and Fred Barge. And these are all names to you guys or whatever, but some of them I hope you know. Dr. Sid, and also if you want to learn how to speak chiropractic to people, Reggie Gold. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And Peter Morgan is Peter's not only a business partner and a friend of mine, Peter is one of my mentors. He's only a few years older than me. But when it comes to leadership and getting things done, nobody gets more done than Dr. Morgan. And so yeah, those are some of my mentors. Peter, why don't you, I know you're going to say a lot of the same, but maybe you have somebody else to throw in, or.
Basically, before I get into that, let me just tell you that I put down on the chat room here the missionlifeinternationaluniversity.com with the codes. The code to get the brain dissection is brain free. The code for the neurological examination.
If it's there, they'll see it.
Yeah, you could see it. So that's all there. And so currently, the things that I like to do to hear the speakers that really interested me in chiropractic is a couple of different places. One is my favorite place to go hear about chiropractic is Chiro Europe. It used to be Dynamic Essentials for me, but they haven't kept the same intensity they kept back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000. But the current level of chiropractic for me is Chiro Europe. In the United States, I like to go to New Beginnings and Life Vision. But there I'm going to see a lot of different speakers that have been mentors of mine for years and years. So I like going to those events. I think it's really important. So I would recommend you guys all go to Chiro Europe, because you get a feeling of camaraderie there's nothing like it. And so you got to be, you got to be with your friends. You got to be always talking chiropractic everywhere you go. One of the things that I just can't stop talking about chiropractic, no matter where I go. All my friends are chiropractors. The only people who I'm friendly with that are not chiropractors are my staff or my family. But besides that, everybody I know is chiropractor. So I'm always talking chiropractic. I'm always involved in every political organization. I'm the past president of my New York state organization. I'm highly involved with the International Chiropractic Association. I'm the representative to Haiti and the Dominican Republic for the ICA. Me and Henry are both the representatives for the World Chiropractic Alliance to the United Nations for their NGO. Their
Let me jump in on that, Peter, really quickly. If any of you are ever coming to New York, you let Peter and I know, because again, we have an affiliation as representatives to the United Nations. We'll come and we'll take you to the United Nations. So if you ever come into New York, let us know.
The United Nations. Yeah, so that's how it keeps us involved in chiropractic.
Great question, Lucas. And by the way, if for reading for you guys, and I don't recommend right out of the gates. I'm reading, this is the D.D. Palmer 1910 adjuster. It's a monster. But for you guys to really, really, really understand chiropractic philosophy, R.W. Stevenson, the chiropractic textbook. It's got to be even harder for you guys because you're all French and it's in English. I don't know if they do it in French, but that is the best book. If you don't really, and again, I'm still studying and understanding chiropractic philosophy, and I'll give you another book that's a very simple explanation of chiropractic philosophy. Frank DiGiacomo, The book is called Man's Greatest Gift to Man. And we can share all this information, but along with your adjusting skills, read good chiropractic philosophy books, but the chiropractic textbook by R.W. Stevenson. The 33 Principles is in there. Go ahead, somebody else jump in.
Any more questions?
Questions, anybody? Looks like there's still a bunch of people. You guys, thanks you guys for letting us present. We really hope to see you guys either in Haiti or hopefully we'll get to visit you all in France. We would love to do an adjusting seminar for you guys. We love that you guys love what we love, which is chiropractic.
Just before leaving, can you share some wonderful experience you remember from all your trips? Like something that really touched you?
You know, I'll go Peter and then I'll let you jump in. Peter has done 99 trips. I've done 15. So there are many, many, many trips and many memories. To me, the most special things are, we showed you many pictures of the buildings, but you didn't see many pictures of the children. We have children down there that whoever comes, and again, Leo knows these kids. Anything that we're down there with the children, and also when we go to the hospitals, the babies, that we see the babies, that anytime we get to adjust the babies and work with the children is the most special of all. Peter, you've got millions of memories. Why don't you pick something to share with these guys?
Yeah, there's been so many different touching memories from when the earthquake happened, where we had, it was just that whole trip immediately after the earthquake was something. I saw chiropractic in a light that I'd never seen before. We had chiropractors on that trip that were delivering babies. We had chiropractors on that trip that were assisting people in amputations, because if your leg was stuck in a wall, you had to get it removed or else you were going to die. And we had all these children that we took in, that every night everybody was singing Creole spiritual songs in Creole, and babies were crying, grown men were crying, grown women were crying. So we had that kind of thing, to sheer joy in other areas where, for example, one of the places that Leon went with us was a place called Labadie. It's a remote fishing village, and there's no transportation on that little island. There's only people walking. There's no motorcycles, no cars, no moving transportation. They're all fishermen. And it's on the foot of about an 8,000-foot mountain. And you could walk up part of the mountain, and about a quarter way up the mountain, there's a little village up there. And a number of years ago, when we were on a mission trip, one of the kids who was about 16 or 17, he fell down a set of stairs and he became paralyzed. And so someone asked us if we could help him. And when we first went to see him, he was stuck in his room, but fortunately has this wonderful view of the ocean. It's an incredible view, but when you're paralyzed, the view doesn't really mean too much. So he's paralyzed, and I got up some money. I had about $100 in my pocket, and we got up another $100 from the people on the mission trip, or maybe $250, and we were able to send them on a boat to a cab to the hospital to get x-rays. There were no MRI machines in Haiti. There were no CAT scans, but this particular hospital has an x-ray machine. As a matter of fact, we sent the only x-ray machine in northern Haiti. We sent it over to a hospital there, and Henry's friend just donated another x-ray machine that we're sending down. Anyway, the kid had x-rays, and there was nothing that we could see on an x-ray, but he was still paralyzed. And we came back on the next mission trip was 2 months later, and he was still paralyzed, and we adjusted him, and We came back 2 months later and he was still paralyzed, and we adjusted him. And at times it was so difficult to adjust him because he had no bowel or bladder control. So sometimes you'd be adjusting him and he'd just be pooping, and you'd be adjusting in feces. But we kept on adjusting him. I even had the president of Life University come on the mission trip, and the president adjusted him. Then one day we had a group of students, and this one young lady, I think it was I'm not exactly sure what technique she did, but I'm pretty sure it was Gonstead, because she had one of these little instruments that a thermography instrument that she did a pre and post check. Anyway, she adjusted this boy, who's now a man, because it's already 6 years he's paralyzed. So this is like 6 years later, adjusted probably 20 something times in those 6 years, maybe more, because we were going 6 to 8 times a year. So adjusted by me many times, by a lot of people. Anyway, one day I come back and the kid walked out of his room. This is 6 years later. So that was pretty incredible. Another time we had another young kid who was on a mission trip with us, and he was in fourth quarter out of Sherman Chiropractic College, and they brought us a paralyzed woman. We went to her house, actually. They didn't bring it to us. The son came and got us and brought it to her house. And just something was telling me that I think this young man should adjust this woman. And he adjusted her, and the next day we came back to visit her, she's walking. So certainly things like that. And then we've had a couple of people who have adjusted people, and their eyesight had improved dramatically, which you could almost say restored their vision. That's happened several times. And a couple of times people's hearing had been restored. So there's so many. I mean, I could go on and on. I could do an hour.
Let me jump back in, Peter, for a second.
Yeah.
I had an experience where a 99-year-old woman had a stroke. The family brought me to the house and I adjusted her. I came back 3 months later. She was now 100 and hadn't moved or spoken or anything in over a day. And at the instant that I adjust her atlas, her arm comes up, and I'll send the video off to Leo on Facebook. It's just really, really cool. So I don't know if she's still alive, but you have these times that you do get to touch. It's really neat how I adjusted this 100-year-old woman, and then the next day I'm in the hospital adjusting a baby who's a few days old, who has what is called an Erb's palsy, where the arm is all turned in. And I go back the next day, and you pull back the covers, and the baby's arm is sitting there as it should be. So the video of the 100-year-old woman, I'll send that over to Leo on Facebook if any of you guys do want to see it. Leo, you want to give a story? You got one? I don't know if you still. I don't see you on the screen. I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Not particular story, but all that mission, it's full of emotion, full of love, and full of people who want to change something in patient, in the people who want to adjust, and in themselves. So everything it's great. Thank you for sharing, you too. It was great for this conference. I think it's we turn to the last word. If you want to say something more.
Why don't I go, Peter, and then I'll let you close it. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for taking interest in what Peter and I are offering. Again, do the things you need to do at school to graduate. Don't make trouble, but learn to adjust and learn chiropractic philosophy, and you will all do great. Go ahead, Peter. That's all I wanted to say.
And I would just like to just close by saying that chiropractic is a science, an art, and a philosophy, and whose goal is to help people naturally, help people to realize that we have we've been designed with a system of life that is from above down and inside out. And if you guys want in the future, I think we'd love to come over with Henry and give you guys a talk about above down, inside out, because it's the philosophy of chiropractic. And when you can really understand it, it's a way of life that you're going to cherish. And not that you don't already, I'm sure that you do, and I'm sure that you're getting it, but you might be going to a school like the school that I went to, where they didn't really teach us too much about chiropractic. So I just want to let you know that not only do we teach chiropractic on our missions and on our pediatric programs, but we show you and we bring you the people so that by the time you're finished, you're really proficient. It's not like going to an adjusting seminar where you get to work on each other. I get to work on Henry and Henry gets to work on me for the whole weekend. This is something completely different, and it's unparalleled. There's really no place in the profession except for maybe another mission somewhere. Maybe Life West does a mission or something like that, but there's not many opportunities to get your hands on a lot of people like the ones that we provide you. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Leon, for, whoa, it was so great that you brought us all these people that we could share, because we just love doing this. We love sharing this stuff with you guys, and that's why we do what we do.
Thank you very much. Merci à tous d'être là, d'être restés jusqu'à la fin. J'ai envie de dire, I would like to thank very much all the people who helped me to go in AD, and of course Peter Morgan and Henry. After that, I would like to... Ouais, j'aimerais dire un mot pour la fin par rapport à Sigma. Pour nous, ça va, comme Rodrigo l'a dit, ça va bientôt être la fin. On a envie d'encourager, d'être encouragé par la sortie. Je suis sûr que les gens qui vont reprendre ça, ils sont dans le groupe. En tout cas, ça fait plaisir. Merci à tous d'être là. Est-ce que Rodrigo, tu as envie de dire un truc?
I just wanted to thank you too, because it was so touching for me, like seeing your videos, seeing the reality over that mission trip. Like, that's awesome. I really love to do it in the future. Like, yeah, it was really powerful for me seeing you talking about it and seeing the reality of the things there. So thank you very much for sharing that, and I hope I see you soon.
Great. Okay.
See you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Great day.
Bye.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
See you, Leo.
See you.
Bye. Thank you.
I have so many things that I love to share with people. Let neither support or challenge interfere with pursuit of mission. For in fact, you need both to obtain your